welcome back. Monday, October 16th. The world did not end over the weekend. And if you're with us Friday, you saw all the plays we were talking about exactly as we predicted on the update that we did at 12 p.m. Everything exploded into the close. That was oil, gold, VIX, gun stocks. Everything exploded into the close. So I hope you guys made out well on Friday. And we did talk about how we were playing the fear of the psychology of other people's fear that, oh my gosh, something huge could happen over the weekend. So actually took a lot of that off the table right before the close on Friday. So far, that's been working out really well. You can see markets rebounding because the world is still here this morning, Monday morning, and we have earnings season kicking up into full gear. I think Tesla might even be tomorrow, or I don't know if it's tomorrow or Wednesday. Let's see. I think it might even be tomorrow. Let's see. Tesla earnings are October 18th in 2 days. All right. That being said, my focus is still the war. All right. We talked about Friday morning about the real story here is about Iran and possible regional conflict, right? If you remember, I'm talking about, wait, why does everyone care about Israel so much? It's because of all the regional players involved. In fact, it's not only Iran, it's Russia. I was thinking of doing a special show last time, but there wasn't enough interest. And I've done a lot of research on this, talked to some very smart people. And, the reason there's now two carrier strike groups in northern Israel, it's not about Israel. It's not as much as people who love Israel think it might be about Israel. It's not. It's about a much larger potential conflict that includes Iran, that includes Russia, huge geopolitical ramifications here. And in my estimation, I think it's inevitable. It's inevitable that it is going to go into something larger, unfortunately, that would include Iran. All right. That's why those carrier strike groups are there. And, we're looking at TLT down this morning. I'm not so moved by this. I'm not so moved by seeing this market up. It's gapping up. What am I going to jump and get all excited and go long? I'm not in that mindset. I just think, and it's possible the mega caps to continue doing well and the smaller stocks maybe continue doing poorly. But let's go to my morning show list because I'm really still focused on oil, defense, gun stocks, border stocks maybe, and gold. Gold's a little harder to play, very unpredictable gold. Okay. I'm still focused on those stocks. Okay. Now we go through the list in the morning, and if there's any specific news that might warrant something to be a top pick based on news, we'll do that. Right. But this morning, I actually didn't really see anything newsworthy to say, hey, this is going to be a top pick. All right. We did have Yatra earnings, which we'll go over in just a second. Lulu is in the S&P 500, and man, it gapped up big Friday after the close. So let's just cover that real quickly. So we have Lulu, 395 Friday after hours, and this morning 395. Now it's rocking in the 402. So I see this happen every single time. By the way, every single time a stock gets included to the S&P 500, and I see that after hours move, I'm like, man, it's so big. Every single, and they always do it on Fridays, I think. Then on Mondays, it goes up like another incredible amount of dollars. I'm like, what? Like, how can it go higher? But every single time, that's what happens. I should have jumped on that at 395. In any case, we also have some big news with Pfizer, a huge guiding down huge on their. Wow, look at that. It's actually recovered, but they guided down huge, and the partner, because of COVID, their partner also was kind of crashing earlier this morning. Let's not have BNTX. Let's see. All right, BNTX is still down. Pfizer's up, but I'm not playing that. I'm not playing that either. Good thing I didn't play Pfizer. All right, so just one last look at the news release. There are some small items out here. RUM saying they're going to be the exclusive live streamer of the third Republican debate. NNDM announced a strong preliminary results, and we had liked this one. They're based in Israel, by the way, and they also made some comments about some damage from Hamas rockets, but they said it's covered by insurance. All right. And then we also have some news from KMDA, some news from Zynex. Let's see. But none of these are going to make it into the top 5. Okay. KMDA, I wouldn't be surprised if this had some nice news come out of KMDA, but recently it's been clobbered because of Israel. They're based in Israel, the production facilities in Israel for their drug. And that's been clobbered down. Like, nice news on announces recent achievements with Cytogam, including availability of product manufactured by the company for U.S. commercial sale and presentation of new clinical data. All right, so that's cool. A little bit of news here, a little bit of news there. Nothing in the news feed that's really extraordinary. Zynex, a nice outperform rating, 13. Wouldn't be surprised to see a nice move in Zynex today. On the research I've done over the weekend, to say, you know what? I think especially oil, right? We have oil, we have gold, we have volatility, but the situation in the Middle East is developing fast, and the possibility that Syria, Lebanon gets involved on the northern front, which is really Iran, right? There'll be a proxy war with Iran would start if that happens. I think unfortunately the probability of that is pretty high. You go back and you look at historically what's happened in wars, oil seems to be the best bet. And remember, oil is also a weapon by Muslim countries. Instead of just a full-scale kinetic war, they could say, all right, we're going to stop giving you oil and stop pumping oil. And that can cause chaos. And I think that's why oil, after Friday's surge, you still see oil holding its gains slightly up, but gold and volatility pulling back. All right. So actually, I think we're going to make oil the number one pick today, but you got to really watch the technicals. It's really basically technical trading oil today with a bias towards the upside, right? With a belief that intraday support lines will hold. That's, I think, what we're going to be doing with oil today. Then I just want to point out defense stocks are also very strong this morning, especially Northrop Grumman, Lockheed Martin reporting earnings tomorrow. So a little bit of excitement over that. Then we have Raytheon. Last week, remember, our number one pick in the morning, I think, was Lockheed Martin, if I'm not mistaken. And we'd switched it. And we switched it over after by 11 o'clock, we noticed better strength in Northrop Grumman. And also they had that catalyst a few days earlier of the analysts coming out saying Northrop Grumman's the most undervalued, the only one with a buy rating. They put Lockheed and Raytheon in neutral. And Northrop Grumman's been riding the wave of that ever since. It's been outperforming on these defense stocks. So we actually swung a little bit of Northrop Grumman over the weekend. You can see it's up sharply. So we'll continue having all of these defense stocks on our radar. Raytheon, just we cut bait on that early on Friday because really outperforming. But I'm going to continue looking for opportunities maybe to get involved in Raytheon at some point. If Northrop Grumman and Lockheed Martin keep on flying, Raytheon will catch up, right? Even if the fundamentals there are weaker, Raytheon at some point will catch up. I'll cover Yatra earnings at the end. All right, what I'm also seeing is strength in the gun stock. So let's move the gun stocks up. SWBI, POWW. Let's go. And where is it? RGR. Where's RGR? Okay. SWW, POWW, RGR. All right, we're going to talk about the border stock as well. Geo. All right, let's do that. So now let's look at the gun stocks. Again, no specific news this morning except a lot of unrest over the weekend, especially in Chicago, also in Los Angeles. I'm talking about riots or protests regarding the conflict between Israel and Hamas and Palestinians that have started getting violent. Okay. And also there was that day of rage or Friday people worried about. There were a couple, unfortunately, murders. One in Germany, I think. Was it Germany? No, France and China, right? Some lone wolf attacks. They took that call. And then over the weekend, unfortunately, someone murdered a Muslim in their home, and landlord. I don't know if you heard about that, right? So unfortunately, all of these things going on is going to get people to say, we got to buy guns, right? So we saw SWBI hit a new 52-week high on Friday. And I think this is just going to continue, right? Intraday, this stock has a lot of volatility. I think you can buy the dips in SWBI, and I think we're in for a long bull period for gun stocks, right? Including SWBI, RGR, and POW. I think POW is probably the riskiest micro cap here. SWBI and RGR are more solid companies, but I like SWBI the best, POWW second after that. Geo, listen to this. I think Geo's back in play today. I really do. Couple reasons why. All right. Friday, the whole theme was, oh my gosh, the world might go into chaos. If it doesn't end, it'll be blood on the streets next week. It'll chaos all over the world. Well, in that case, like I said, it's too late for Geo, right? All right, too late for ankle monitoring. You need guns. That's why we saw, and wow, what a prediction that was on Friday, right? So we saw the guns run into the close. It's all about market psychology, and it changes day to day, right? It's about buying the guns into the close, and then people forgot about Geo. Now that the weekend has passed and the world's not over, I think Geo's back in play today. I really do. And Geo also tends to kind of run with the market a little bit. You saw the market's up at 1%, IWM or so. Geo hasn't moved yet. I'm actually going to put Geo in the top 5. I think Geo is due for a big rebound day today. All right, let's move Geo up in there. Let's look at the chart a little bit closer for a second. So let's see, Geo. I think is that the one with the cup and handle, or no? Was it SWBI with a cup and handle? Oh yeah, cup, gigantic cup. We got a handle on Friday. All right, bouncing off the 200. I really like Geo. A little bit of speculation here in terms of market psychology. Let's see if I'm right, man. With this kind of stuff, so it'll be funny to see if Geo explodes on no catalyst. It's exactly precisely what I said. Like people thinking the world's going to end over the weekend. Now it hasn't. Now we're back to politics and border security. So I think that's the play. Geo is definitely in the top 5 today. All right. SWBI. All right. So what I'm going to do is here, I'm not going to put Yatra in the top 5. Okay. I'll cover the earnings in just a second. So we're going to go Geo. Okay. We have oil, Geo, SWBI, and Northrop Grumman. All right. Those will be the top 4. Yes. And then we have, we'll be watching. We can swap out like Northrop Grumman for Lockheed Martin or Raytheon. We'll see which is the strongest. We can swap out SWBI during the day for POW or RGR, right? We'll see the relative strength in the morning. We can swap those out, all right? So that's your list. And now let's look at Yatra earnings. Yatra, actually not a bad bid here this morning. It was much lower before earnings came out. So earnings came out, and the good thing is they really beat on adjusted EPS. 39-cent adjusted EPS beats a 2-cent miss, all right? Conference calls at 11 o'clock in the morning. Revenue missed by just a little bit, 13.48 versus 13.57. All right, so India has not traded on this news yet. We'll have to see late tonight how India trades on this news. But what can I say? Hopefully you see a bounce in Yatra. Like I've said a few times, Yatra is going to be our last major swing position. We're looking for opportunities to get out, but we're not selling right here. We're waiting for bigger moves and volume because we do have a big position. So, all right, we'll see. We'll monitor how Yatra does. So now going back to the top of the list. You know what? I might have to make Geo number 1. Just talking through it out loud. I love oil, and we're going to trade oil with that bias towards the upside. We will. But I think the logic behind Geo is just a greater chance. So much geopolitics involved in the USO. It's hard to say. But in terms of what's the market psychology going to be on Geo, I think that has a much more chance of being correct, as I explained it. So, all right. So Geo, USO, I really like that SWBI chart. NOC. Yeah, you know what? 4 picks today. Top 4. I'm going to lock it in right there. Geo, USO, SWBI, and NOC. Those are the top 4. Again, we're looking for opportunities maybe to rotate and change your mind on NOC. Maybe it's going to be Lockheed or Raytheon. SWI, maybe it's going to be POWW or RGR. Looking at the strength, we're going to do that. And then oil, it's really just playing the technicals with an upward bias, right? A little bit of faith that support levels will hold because of what's going on regionally. And Geo, I just really like the thesis on that, the way I spelled that out there. I just convinced myself. All right, let's just see if there's anything here in the news since we started the show. IMMX. Yeah, I got to stay away from biotechs. I never can trade biotechs well. All right. So that's it. That's what we're doing. All right. And maybe we'll look for also opportunities if we see gold at support levels or breakouts. Like maybe we'll do that. But also monitoring the news for that. Gold like really acutely responds to the headlines. So I got to put on my news feed today during the day. All right. And that's all we got. Good luck. Let's go. Have a great day.